All right, welcome back. I trust we can all hear me loud and clear. Please, I would like to confirm that everybody could hear me loud and clear. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, please, I would like you to type 1 in the chat room. Thank you for giving me that time to ensure that the YouTube is also set up. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, please, I will need you to help me type 1 in the chat room. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I just observed that we have 599 subscribers on YouTube. So I don't know who the 600 person is going to be, but whoever that 600 person is going to be, it's like you're going to get a gift from me this month because you're going to be a special subscriber. So in case you've not subscribed to the YouTube, this is the link. I just posted the link for, okay, Mr. Abraham has posted the link for YouTube itself, but I just posted the link for the lectures. So if you've not subscribed and you want to be the 600 person and will get a gift from me today, just go subscribe. And as soon as I see your name there, be sure that you're going to get a gift from me. The 600 person. Okay. The 600 person. Thank you. I can decide to change my mind later to saying everybody that subscribes today will get a gift from me. But let me leave it at the 600 person first. Okay, so the 600 person, I'm waiting to see who the 600 person is going to be. Then be sure to get a gift from me today. All right, so client relationship management. Because of our time, I think I said it in the last class. For those of you that already have your materials, you will see that the course is actually quite voluminous. So it's not something we might be able to get done in 2 or 3 weeks or even 4 weeks. The program is meant to last longer, meant to be at least for 6 months on weekends. But we are going to end up having a crash program. So for those of us that already have our materials, please, you are encouraged to do self-study and then use the class to ask questions for more clarity, or use the chat rooms for questioning so that we can get clarity. And then if you've not gotten your material, please check your mail very well, because for all the people that have paid, we pushed out their materials, except the email we have is not too correct, or we made a mistake in your email. But in case you've not gotten that, you've paid, don't worry. And we are saying this in the chat room, Mrs. Grace. We are saying this in the chat room. If you paid and you've not gotten material, let us know. And you're telling us here. Okay. All right. So please, let's help with self-study and ask questions with the chat rooms, and then we'll be able to provide some answers. All right. Okay. So let's start with relationship management this morning, client relationship management. Of course, we understand that in consulting, if not the most important thing, one of the most important thing, in fact, it is more important than even setting your value propositions. If it is not part of your value propositions, then there could be something wrong. And that is ensuring that you have a good relationship and a very good network of people that you can always provide your services to. Either you ought to have 3 categories of people in your network: those that you provide your services to, those that help you extend your services to others, and those that you have to partner with. Okay, those that you sell your services to, those that help you send your services to others, that's like referrals, and then those that partner with you to provide your services. These 3 people are very, very important. So you have to manage the relationship you're having with them. Okay, so you look out for those who can help you, you look out for those you can help, and then under those who can help you, have those who can recommend you to others, and then you have those who can partner with you to provide quality service to those who you can help. All right, and these 3 people are very, very important. These 3 people are very, very important. Okay. Okay, so it is also important, we started this class with looking at emotional intelligence. It's also important to realize that emotional intelligence is critical in relationship management, client relationship management. So if you ever felt that that course was not for you or was not necessary, it's good you go and take another look at that course. It's still available on YouTube till this program is over, before we bring them down. Okay, so you could still go and check on them and go through it again. Try to understand the whole concept of of um, of emotional intelligence, because that will help you quite a lot in managing your client relationship or managing all the relationship around your consulting enterprise. All right. So in relationship, as far as business is concerned, we have two kinds of relationship. We have the internal relationship and we have the external relationship. The internal relationship has to do with all the relationship that exists between you and your team members, and why the external relationship has to do with all the relationship that is between you, your competitors, your collaborators, your clients, your stakeholders, um, government, regulatory agencies, and all of that. And the way we manage this relationship can be of either negative value or positive value to us. Okay, the way we manage this relationship can bring good results or take away something from us, which will leave us in a situation we might not like. So managing relationship, client relationship, is very essential. All right, so let's see what we have here. Although this class is quite voluminous, but we will try to see how to cut it. The morning session is going to run till 10 o'clock. So let's see whether we can have at least 2 classes between now and 10 o'clock. So we are going to look at client relationship, 4 dimensions of relationship management. And then we'll look at dimension 1, interpersonal awareness, dimension 2, interpersonal relationship management, that dimension 3, team dynamics, dimension 4, cultural and operational consideration, then building client relationship, engaging effectively with your clients, roles and skills of relationship manager, successful project planning, implementation, wrapping up, and then 10 keys to outstanding client service. Let's quickly look at this case study that we have here, which is introductory. Mark is a presentation specialist in a management consulting firm, and his role includes creating corporate presentation for his clients. One fine morning, Mark was assigned a critical deadline job by his coordinator, Steve. Mark was looking at the files and he realized that client has sent the original document, Excel files, along with files with instructions. He also noted down that Excel file has data in different tabs. Client has asked to send the document in next 2 hours as he got important meeting with the stakeholders. Client also sent another email asking to take the data from a particular tab in Excel file and prepare a couple of charts. But that email was completely overlooked by his supervisor, Steve. Mark is in confusion now, as he was not sure from where the data should be taken to prepare the charts. He asked his supervisor if there is any further communication from client or any email. His supervisor scrolled down the job list and found, to his surprise, that client has sent an email regarding the job which Mark was working on. He immediately apologized for his sloppy work and gave a printout of the client's email to Mark. To be on a safer side, the supervisor has sent an email to the client stating that the job will be delayed. As Mark was not satisfied with his supervisor's reply, he called the client over the phone and explained everything that happened in his office. Already 1 hour passed and there is 1 more hour to meet the client's deadline. Mark assured the client that the job will be done in next hour by getting help from other team members. Mark and his team members not only completed the job within an hour, but also produced and suggested alternative versions for a few pages, which are far better than the client sketch. The result is excellent feedback from client to Mark and his team. What actually Mark has done? What has actually Mark done? So let's find out from here. Now, Mark was able to get transparent with client. Mark was confident or confidence for clients that job will be done from Mark, and then creating trust, and then building and maintaining client relationship. These were the things that Mark did that made him look excellent before the client. So let's now quickly look at what this whole client relationship management is all about. Project clients and others. Whenever you work for an organization, it is your responsibility to serve your clients. Clients can be internal clients or the external clients. And I've explained the internal dimensions of clients and the external dimensions of clients. And as a consultant, we also need to understand that if we get to be consulting in organizations or for organizations, we get to manage two different kinds of clients. Okay, we'll manage these two different kinds of stakeholders, those that are internal and those that are external. So for the external clients, we'll have people like the vendors and suppliers, paying project clients, and then the community. The internal clients will have the cross-functional peers, your superiors, and your staff. Remember, when you deliver anything to another person or to another group, you are considered as the supplier in a relationship with a client. You get a chance to improve the relationship and set a good standard by offering a great service. The first law of service is satisfaction. And satisfaction is perception minus expectation. Perception minus expectation. That is what satisfaction is. What is perceived minus what is expected. That will give you the actual satisfaction. Okay, that will give you the actual satisfaction. All these three make the first law of service. They are driven by what services or goods you deliver and how you deliver it. Now, quickly, let's look at technical versus service performance. Technical performance, a project which is delivered is the end product of your team's technical performance. A project which is delivered is the end product of your team's technical performance. The service performance refers to the manner in which the project was delivered by your team. The technical performance is the end product of the project that has been delivered by your team. Why the manner in which the project's product was delivered is regarded as service performance. Now, some companies do have wonderful product, but poor customer service. In the same way, some consultants have very good product, but very poor customer service. And that service is where the emotional intelligence come to play. Okay, that service is where the emotional intelligence come to play. And we must keep paying attention in that regard. We must keep paying attention in that regard. We must keep paying attention in that regard. We must keep paying attention in those areas that require service excellence. Okay, we must keep paying attention in these areas that require service excellence. All right. Now, what do clients notice? Your clients pay attention to professionalism, communication, availability and responsibility, understanding expectation, product and service knowledge, managing the client problem. So if you want to build a culture of service excellence, then you must consider these elements as part of your service excellence. Okay, you must consider these elements as part of your service excellence: professionalism, communication, availability and responsibility. Availability and responsibility covers all issues as dedication, commitment, integrity, and all of those other attributes. Then understanding expectation, also paying attention to detail, providing the right framework and scope to be able to do the work. They are all excellent. Then product and service knowledge are part of the things that your clients get to find out. And then managing client problem. Okay, managing client problem. Now, the first one is professionalism. If you keep yourself and your workplace neat and tidy, it reflects positively on you. The client will notice whether you speak clearly and appropriately with respect to the situation. The client will notice whether you speak clearly and appropriately with respect to the situation. Some of us that go into consulting, is when it's time for talking about the problem, we actually leave the problem and we talk about other things completely. And that makes the whole experience boring and makes the whole experience unprofessional. So it is important that we understand the scope and nature of projects before we start talking about them. We understand the scope and nature of projects before we start talking about them. We understand the scope and nature of projects before we start talking about them. That's very, very important. Then communication. Successful communication with the client depends on your ability to ask the appropriate question at the appropriate time. Successful communication with the client depends on your ability to ask the appropriate question at the appropriate time. So before you go talking to a client, it's good you prepare all your relevant questions and be sure that you have a nice time. Okay, be sure that you have a nice time. One of the reasons for proper communication is that by communicating properly, the client gets to trust your service. The client gets to believe in what you are doing and gets to believe in your capacity to deliver value. All right. And that's why we as consultants must pay attention to research and development, especially in our own fields. Okay. Find out new trends of events. Those things will help you deliver superior value in terms of communication to your clients. All right. They have availability and responsibility. Clients will appreciate you when there is a timely response whenever they ask something. They will also praise you if you are there when there is a need. If you notice one critical area of customer service, it is prompt response to questions, prompt response to questions. And that has resulted to what we now call the chatbot technology. Even with the chatbots, customers and clients still want to have real-time experience with their consultants or with their suppliers. All right, they still want to have real, because chatbots have their own limitations. Okay, but in this area of communication, in this area of customer service, always being there, you will notice also that companies use some statements, some automated responses to help you stay calm while someone gets to attend to you. So for instance, you could send a message to a company and they'll say, your message is well received. We are sorry, we are unavailable at the moment, but an agent or a rep will be with you shortly. Okay, or we will get back to you within 24 to 42 working, 48 working hours. So you get to have an expectation. But to completely leave the customer off without responding, without making any comment, without, it kills the customer. And you also need to define your most appropriate channels of communication. You have to define your most appropriate channels of communication, and your clients need to know that. Okay, let's assume that your most appropriate channel of communication is Facebook Messenger. In that case, if somebody sends you a message on WhatsApp, there should be an automated message to ask the person to chat you on Facebook Messenger, or vice versa. Or you're using Instagram, or you're using any other mechanism. There must be a way of communicating effectively so that the person knows exactly where he or she will get the support he or she is looking at from. Okay, that's very, very important. Then understanding expectation, invest some amount of time to understand what the client exactly wants. They will know that you actually care about them. So it's important you sit down with your client and discuss the project you're going to be consulting in, discuss the situation you're going to be consulting in, discuss the event you're going to be consulting. And when discussing this, please make sure the essence of this discussion is to be able to get the actual scope of the project or the actual scope of the consulting exercise. That's the whole essence of your discussion, right? That's the whole essence of your discussion. So you have to pay attention in all of this, all right? You have to pay attention in all of this. Then the next one is the product and service knowledge. If you have good knowledge about your organization's product and services, your client will get more confidence on you. I don't know how many of us have had this experience. Maybe you went to a bank and the customer service told you something else. The operations manager is telling you something else. And the bank manager is telling you totally different thing. Okay, I've had such an experience in a bank before. So I opened a DOM account and they told me that the account should be running on zero. All right, so I opened it and put in some money there for the purpose of making some transactions. And at the end of the day, I found out that at a particular limit, I couldn't spend any other dime from that account. And I was not expecting that because they told me it could run on zero account. And I asked them, I called the operations manager. I said, this is what is happening on this account. He said he cannot really say what is happening, that he can see that I have money, but he can also see that why I won't be able to spend the money. That's what he cannot see. So I called my account officer and I said, okay, you people advised me to open this account, right? And you say these are the benefits. So now this is the condition. And it's okay, give me a minute. Let me call my BM. Call BM. BM said, this account is supposed to be running as I'm still talking to you, it is still supposed to be running on zero. And I called, at the end of the day, they said they were going to call their head office. They called their head office. And I also called the head office. The head office said, no, you can spend the money. I said, okay, so if I can spend the money, why am I not spending the money? He said, that's what we do not know. So the inability to be able to sort out that situation, I felt like there is no need of putting money here because since they don't even know, I can't withdraw the money, I can't use the money, and they say the money is not fixed. So why is the money there? Okay, so I had to go and open another account with another bank that at the end of the day served me better. Okay, so if you don't understand, assuming they had told me, okay, even if it is not true, but at the end of the day, they were able to tell me, okay, this particular benchmark is the limit you can actually go. This is like, how did they put it now? This is the minimum available balance. Maybe I could have believed them and still topped up some money and still continue with my transaction. But for the fact that they told me it was zero operating account, and at the end of the day, they can't clearly specify why my money can't be used again, right? That was improper information, lack of knowledge about that particular product. Okay, and at the end of the day, they actually had to go and open another bank account, all right, with another bank. So it's important to pay attention to product knowledge or service knowledge. Then managing client problem. When you understand and prevent any problems which the clients will encounter, you are well ahead in the game. Whenever there is any problem, you should be prepared to manage it. Now, listen to me and listen very well. If your client knows more than you in the project you're going to consulting, then you're not worth consulting for that client. If the client knows more than you, I'm not saying that the client shouldn't know about the project. Yep, the client should know about the project because that's his project. But if the client now knows more than you in the project, in the consulting experience, then you're not worth the consulting fee. Okay, so by whatsoever means, you should be innovative, creative in managing problems. And that makes the whole exercise exceptional. All right, so that's very, very important. By all means, keep adding to your knowledge in the area you've chosen to consult. By all means, keep adding to your knowledge in the area you've chosen to consult. Keep building network of the right people in the area you've chosen to consult. Now, in client relationship management, one of the key rules to effective service delivery is under promise and over deliver, under promise and over deliver, under promise and over deliver, which is key in customer service or client relationship management. Clients will be happy if they receive your product or service in a manner or method which impresses them. Their perception of the overall project will also be better. So under promise and over deliver. And if you take out the whole operations that concern customers in your business, you should be able to fix out what you could under promise them and then being able to over deliver. All right, under promise and being able to over deliver. All right, very, very important. Example, imagine you have a DVD player for repair and have been told to call back in 3 to 4 weeks. How would you react if the repair shop calls in 10 days and says that the unit was not only repaired but cleaned as well? Delivering added value and maximizing client satisfaction is much more than good luck. Delivering added value and maximizing client satisfaction is much more than good luck. So let's get that statement and get it very clear. Now, quickly, let's look at the 4 dimensions of relationship management. So you need to know about the 4 dimensions of relationship management to satisfy your client needs. The 4 dimensions are the intrapersonal, the interpersonal, the team dynamics, and the cultural operational. Now, if you look at this very well, this is just a combination of emotional intelligence versus social and operational excellence. That's what you're saying here. So the 2 dimensions of emotional intelligence, that's the intrapersonal and the interpersonal, come into play. And then you have the cultural or operational dimension, which has to do with the technical side. And then you have to fix the team dynamics, which still has to deal with relationship management and skills, competencies, and knowledge required by the team to be able to work. And then understanding the team strategies that you'll be able to use to deliver your work effectively and efficiently. So these 4 dimensions inevitably is being driven by emotional intelligence. Okay. You are the one. Consider the dynamics of a baseball team. Consider the dynamics of a baseball team. Okay. Intrapersonally speaking, you are solely responsible for athletic skill and your attitude towards the game. Even though it is related to you alone, it may affect or impact others' aspect of the game. It takes 2. You might have seen 2 fielders collide when they are chasing a long fly ball. This is because of lack of communication and results in a base hit for the opponent, creating a negative impact for the whole team. So what a play. If you watch a triple play, it will be surprising to see that several players act as if they have been technically choreographed to execute play. Even though it is non-verbal, it is a good demonstration of building relationship to working on solving a problem. Then look at the intrapersonal awareness. Of course, the intrapersonal awareness has to do with the relationship within you. Okay, the relationship within you. You will understand how your personality affects others at your workplace. Intrapersonal awareness has nothing to do with other people's beliefs or core values. It is about how your beliefs and core values affect your behavior and how it impacts others. Okay. Now, influence and conflict management. Whenever you are working on a project, there will be differences or conflict between you and your clients or between you and your team members. In both the situations, if you know various styles of managing conflict, it will help you exert a positive influence. And of course, we as consultants, must be fully aware that conflict is part of consulting. All right, conflict is part of consulting, because most often when we are consulting, we want to bring in some changes, which the client will often tell you no, or there could be some cases of finance, or there could be some cases of delayed expectations. There could be several other sources of conflict. Okay, when the scope is not well understood and the client is thinking that the consultant understood, the consultant is thinking that the client said it this way. So all of those things could result in conflict. But being able to manage the conflict is key in consulting. All right, so influence and conflict management style. So we have the dominating style, accommodating style, avoiding, compromising, and collaborating style. So let's look at each of them. For the dominating, people who fall under this category consider differences or conflict as a threat to their power and control. It is important to remove them as soon as possible. It's important to remove this kind of people that see conflict as a threat. Should I make a little digression? I think in Nigeria, currently, anything that will threaten the present government or anything that will make, like, what they call it now, anything that will be like protest or any social disturbance is considered as a very big threat, and they are possibly going to take anything to deal with that. This kind of relationship management is not too good. A relationship management where everything that the people face negatively are false. Meanwhile, everything they tell us get to be true. So that gets to be a very negative, it's going to be a very negative influence. And the people are going to keep fighting against it till it's only going to be more dangerous. Okay, it's only going to be more dangerous when we have leaders who do not accept responsibility but keep pushing blames to the people who they are leading. Okay, in fact, the other day I was just thinking to myself, and I said, it is better to have, or it is better to be led by those who fear you than to be led by those who you fear. It is better to be led by those who fear you, not necessarily fear that you will do them anything, but those who are concerned about your well-being, than to be led by those who are not concerned about your well-being. No matter what you do or say, it doesn't really change anything. And that is gradually becoming the kind of leadership we have in Africa, where we have people who are much more concerned about themselves, me, myself, and I kind of leadership. So we get to become politically inclined, not to change situations, but to just milk the nation dry, and as much as we can deal with the people the way we want to deal with them. Okay, so those things get to be dominating kind of conflict management. Okay, dominating kind of conflict management. All right. Then we have the accommodating. People with accommodating nature consider conflict and differences as disturbing the friendly atmosphere, and they try to avoid such situations. So those that accommodate, those that use accommodating style as a way of managing conflict, try as much as they can to avoid conflicts or anything that will result to conflict. Okay, I was just saying to myself yesterday, I said, Nigerian youth and Nigerians generally went on protest, and they listed several things which they brought under the umbrella of NSAS protest. But unfortunately, till date, not one has been accomplished. Not one. I don't see anyone that has been accomplished. Okay, I don't see anyone that has been accomplished. So that's to also show the dominating nature of the kind of government we have. All right, so I'm not talking from bias. I'm just trying to present a typical situation. Okay, so if this Nigerian government was to be consulting, they are going to be in fight with their clients every day. They will be quarreling with their clients every day. Okay, they'll be quarreling with their clients every day. All right. They will have the avoiding. These people withdraw from a situation whenever they feel that differences or conflicts are going to emerge. So they avoid. They tend to let go. Okay, they don't want any issue. Compromising. People with this style view conflicts or differences in different ways. If a majority of the people's opinion are clear, they accept it. So irrespective of what they believe or not, if what the people want, the majority of the people, if what they want is this and their own opinion is different, they will still compromise on their own opinion and still buy into what the people are saying. Okay, they will still buy into what the people are saying. Collaborating, these individuals consider differences or conflicts as a learning tool, and when they are properly managed, they breed new and better ideas. So they, instead of fighting each other, we should be collaborating in solving problems. Instead of fighting each other, we should be collaborating in solving problems. I was trying to get the attention of CBN the other day. I've written to them before, and I asked them a simple question, and they've not been able to provide the answer. Now, I don't know how many of us that have noticed that most of the international policies on trade, they're actually anti to small business owners. I don't know about the big business owners anyway, but they are anti to small business owners. And the last time I wrote to, I tried to get the attention of CBN, I asked them a simple question in my little write-up. I said, your website says that dollar is 380, right? Currently, BDC says that dollar is about 500 Naira plus. Now, if you go to different banks, they have different rates for dollars. For instance, one of the banks I use charge 466. Another charge 480 something. Another one charges 490 something. Now, those of them that put 395, 420, if you go to tell them, okay, you want to exchange dollar, they will tell you they don't have. Okay, they will tell you that they don't have. So inevitably, those ones are just to put up figures, not that they are giving you or trading any dollars for you. Now, my question to CBN was, number one, who is regulating the currency, the international currency, especially the dollar? Who is regulating it? Number two, how do we monitor international transactions, especially those of us that buy things online or make payments online? So how do we monitor those transactions? Because I made some payments some times ago on a particular website, and I was charged over 900 Naira per dollar. Now, ordinarily, we have NIPS, all right? And we have the online security systems via the central bank that monitors those things. So basically, all the transactions that we do should pass through the CBN channel, which is the national carrier, before it gets over to the international community. So CBN question, how are these things being done? And on your website, you keep telling us that dollar is 380. Meanwhile, in the real market, dollar is almost approaching 550. So where is the difference coming from? Okay, where is the difference coming from? And every day we keep hearing things like CBN has new policy on international market, CBN has new policy on international trade, CBN has, and with all the new policy, we are not seeing anything visible in the market. Today, they will tell you no more international transactions. They will block everything. When they open it the next day, you won't get to be able to fix where you stopped. They will tell you, okay, go to the bank and do all your international transactions. You get to the bank will tell you we don't have dollars. It's okay, but CBN said we should come. It says CBN didn't give us anything. So you see, there had been some disintegration in solving national challenges in Nigeria. And I think CBN should be an integrator to solving these problems rather than just fixing anything they feel like. And those things are very unrealistic. Okay, they are very, very unrealistic. When someone wants to pay you from outside of Nigeria, they use what they see on CBN website. But when you want to pay someone from within Nigeria, you don't use to use anything. You just pay the dollar equivalent. So if the person says $10, you get to change whatever thing you have to $10, and which would be like 5,000 naira as it were today. Okay, and send to the person, right? But it will cost you 5,000 to get $10 right now. Now, if you want to receive $10 from the person will pay you 3,800 equivalents. So all of these things need to be well dealt with. Okay, they need to be well dealt with. Okay, and we should be collaborative enough rather than dominating and trying to. Okay, receiving feedback. Listening carefully is important to make the best use of feedback. Some responses to feedback that can help clarify and resolve issues include silence, inviting nonverbal communication, active listening, paraphrasing, and acknowledgement. Dimension number 2, the interpersonal relationship management. The golden rule: it is always good to treat others the way you would like yourself to be treated. Treat others the way they want to be treated. An interpersonal relationship is a relationship with another person. Remember, the intrapersonal was the relationship with or within yourself. Okay, then the interpersonal is the relationship with others. Determining your client's preference. How can you determine your client's preference and comfort zones? You could use any of this. So you have check out the client's workplace, observation of behavior, ask questions, request feedback, seek input from others. Do things with your client. Remember that you are doing things or working with the client and not working for him. This aspect of your behavior builds a successful relationship with the client. So it's very, very important that you understand that you are working with and not working for, because both working with and working for has their own different kind of behaviors. Okay, and why most people actually don't get consulting assignments is because their attitude shows working for rather than showing working with. Okay, some attitudes show working for rather than working with. And when someone wants to see you as a consultant, the area he wants to place you is the area of working with, not working for. Okay, all right. Dimension 3, team dynamics. When you have one additional person in your team, you are into the complicated world of team dynamics. You had only one relationship to manage, you and your client, but now there are 3 people: you, your client, and your team member. So that brings in the team dynamics. In fact, most people are scared, especially most consultants are scared of bringing in people to work with them. Maximum they would do is to bring in a secretary who serves as a customer rep, all right, or client rep. But to now bring in a partner is always a case. Okay, bringing partners in consulting is always a case. And we all need to overcome that challenge, because by having that challenge, we are limiting the opportunities that comes to us. Yes, I will agree with us that some people, when they come, they tend to be a problem. Yeah, but the more people you hire and the more people move through your organization, the better experience you get to have to know who could be the right person and how to manage them. Okay, and also we also need to understand the different HR strategies for managing people. The different HR strategies for managing people. Okay, that will help us in bringing in new team members and then being able to manage them effectively and efficiently. And you must be able to set down the rules of engagement very well to avoid conflicts of interest. All right. Now, define and acknowledge interdependencies. Each and every team and department has a common goal. The relationship among the members should be developed to achieve these goals. All the members can perform well when the following aspects are addressed. The roles of individuals are clearly defined, consistent communication is followed, relationship between the supplier and relationship between the supplier and client acknowledged, then conflicts surface and get resolved. They will have the dimension for cultural and operational considerations. When you are dealing with a project from an external client, you will be facing a new issue like communication protocols, dress code, and so on. It is important to know about the cultural issues of your client and also your own organization. Operational considerations here. While standards or cultural norms established by organizational operations can have a direct impact on relationship and client interaction, they are the administrative considerations, the policies, the infrastructure, the capacity. All right, quickly, let's look at this question, and I would like to have your answer in the chat room. When you are dealing with an external client, you will be facing many challenges and key issues. It is also important to know client's dash. When you are dealing with an external client, you'll be facing many challenges and key issues. It is also important to know client's dash. Is it cultural background, organization, goals, and relationship? Please let me have your answer in the chat room. Okay, I'm still expecting our answers. Okay, I'm still expecting the answers. What's your answer? I'm only seeing one answer in the chat room. So when you are dealing with an external client, you will be facing many challenges and key issues. It is important to know client's dash. So what's the answer, please? Someone say cultural background. All right. More answers, please. We have 18 people in this class, so we should actually get 10 answers. 10 answers. All right, so cultural background, relationship, cultural background. Okay, so let's find what the answer is. All right, so cultural background is the right answer. Building client relationship. Thank you so much for all the responses. Building client relationship. Tips for building relationship with clients. Ensure that you have clear contract with clients. Be a good learner. Stay focused. Try to solve problems and find a solution. Chances of getting referrals. Clarify your doubts by asking more questions, and then be willing to say yes or no where such demands. How to gain and maintain your client's trust. Trust is the foundation for every aspect of business with your client. When you have a good relationship with your client, everything works well because of the trust behind the scene. When trust is not there, sorry, please. When trust is not there, you have to struggle, whether you sell something or work on a project. So important is to build trust. Okay, important is to build trust. And you must understand what trust is. You must understand what trust is in order to build trust. Okay. You have to understand what trust is in order to build trust. In fact, most businesses are suffering today because of lack of trust. Customers can't really trust them. Clients can't really trust them. There is an approach or a strategy we use in building trust easily, especially in the consulting firm, in consulting industry. And I need you to understand it. We call it risk reversal. We call it risk reversal. Now, you see that risk reversal in several other names. You see it in other cases like warranty. You see it in other cases like guarantee. You see it in other cases like refunds. You see it in other cases as risk mitigation, or whatever name they call it. They all mean the same thing. Now, what does risk reversal in consulting does? Risk reversal takes the risk completely off from the client and places it on the company. So the customer has nothing to be afraid of. The customer has nothing to be afraid of. If he wants to make payment, he's making the payment because he is not afraid of losing the money, because he's definitely that he won't lose the money. If he want to commit commit to your company, he's committing because he has the confidence that he won't be able to lose anything. All right. So when customers have that confidence that they are not losing anything by relating with you, or by buying into your product or service, or by experimenting your product or service, they get to be willing to do more with you. Okay. When customers decide how, when they get to be much more impressed with you, when they be the one to define exactly what needs to be done. Okay. And they get to be much more excited working with you. So importantly, trust is very important. Okay, trust is very important. Now, creating trust: be transparent, follow through every time, declare what you don't know, listen and respond. Okay, let's quickly look at each of them. Be transparent. What does that mean? When you are interacting with your client and you are not comfortable with the subject, you take an indirect approach and are not transparent. But if you are open and transparent, client will trust you and will feel that you care for them. Okay, they feel that you care for them. Follow through every time. Ensure that you say what you mean and mean what you say. If you are good at meeting your goals and accomplish whatever task you have started, your client will gain confidence in you. Declare what you don't know. There are certain areas where you are not an expert. If you admit the fact that you are not sure about certain things, you are doing great things, or you are doing great things for your relationship. Your relationship will be strong if you openly admit the things that you don't know. Then listen and respond. Understand and listen to what your clients say. Listening and responding are part of good communication. Only if you understand your clients, they will feel that you value them and their perspective. Developing personal relationship. Developing personal relationship doesn't mean you have to share all your personal things with your clients, or you need not ask any personal question to your client. Just mentioning about your weekend plans, inquiring about his or her health, wishing on his or her birthday, and so on are enough. So we should know the boundary between relationship and confidentiality. Okay, especially there is not everything we get to be out and open with. Okay, it's not everything we get to be out and open with. The client is much more interested in the value and solutions you bring, and you are much more interested in the sustained relationship of providing value to that client. And that is where it should end. The issue of bringing your family issues to your client is not professional. Your relationship issues to your client is not professional. In fact, your client shouldn't notice any difference as to how you feel when you come to work for him, or work with him or with her. Okay, that's part of the professionalism. All right. I saw one comedy skit the other day, and I was smiling, and that explains what I'm trying to talk about here. Now, this young man opened up in the comedy skit. This young man opened up a consulting firm, and he's a psychological consultant. or consultant in psychology. So a client walked in and he said, the client, your registration fee or whatever fee was 10,000, and the client paid. And the client said his problem is that he's having about 3 different projects and he needs guide on how to manage them. So one of the projects was what, about $10 million, $10 billion rather, according to them. And then he mentioned the other 3. And while he was speaking, the the consultant asked him, he said, your problem is to manage the money. Your problem is the money is too much. And the Omar said yes. While he was still trying to talk, a call came from his house, that's the consultant's house, and the call was from his landlord. And the landlord said, you need to pay me my money or I will throw you out of this house. So while he just finished talking with the landlord, he now looked at the client. He said, your problem is how to manage the money. He said, my own problem is that I don't have the money. So if you can help me, I can pay my house rent, and then we'll now see how we can manage the money. I say, so what concerns your consulting experience with your family experience? It doesn't really correlate, all right? So building personal relationship. In fact, answering such a call while you're consulting is even unprofessional. So we need to pay attention to that. Okay. And I've also kept saying this. I've said this over and over again. So many people have this attitude of, when we get to have mentors, we now throw our responsibilities to mentors. I was speaking about this in an engagement, and somebody says that his mentor gives him money. His mentor takes care of his own family. I'm like, that's good. Maybe that's on his own volition. He's a philanthropist. Get to understand it. He's a philanthropist, not a mentor. Okay. Most people get to have difficulty in finding mentors because their mindset about mentor is that the person should be able to take care of me, which is not true. Okay. A mentor is like an unpaid consultant who want to help you discover more to yourself and help you realize them. All right. So we need to understand the difference between finding a philanthropist and finding a mentor or a coach. Developing personal relationship, creating multi-dimensional relationship. You can achieve certain things like creating trust and loyalty, or create trust and loyalty. Give clients more reason to refer you because they feel they really know who you are. Understand your client well so that work becomes easier. Create changes for motivation within the company. Avoid miscommunication. Make them understand that you are also human, just like them. Okay, very, very important. All of this will help in developing personal relationship. Okay, developing personal relationship. Build loyalty with your clients. All business persons like to have loyal clients. Try to be excellent in the 5 following areas, and your customers will reward you by giving more businesses to you. Try to be excellent in communicating, in understanding your client goals, being consistent, building credibility, and crackerjack surprise. So let's see what each of them try to say. For communicating, to have long-standing relationship, you should have good communication. Communication refers to listening to your clients and also conveying your own ideas. Communicate properly when there is any problem and when things are going well. Bring it to their attention. Now, the next one is understanding your client's goals. The product or service which give you to your clients are valid only if it satisfies their need. Therefore, understanding exactly what your clients are expecting from you is very important. You should be aware of the innovations that may affect the customer's needs. Consistency, be consistent with the quality of the products or services which you deliver to your clients. Have a routine schedule for communication with your key clients. Build credibility. Credibility can also be built in 2 ways. First, do what you say you are going to do. Follow up promptly when you need to. The second way is to wait for the best answer. If you don't get the best answer, take time to research and come back with the best and accurate answer. Cracker Jack surprise. Give something more to your clients than what they expect. For example, a greeting card or a small gift to show appreciation. Loyalty is a relationship. Care for your clients like your friend. Don't take it for granted. Now, let's also look at this question and provide the answer. There is something which works in background between you and your client. Without that, you need to face difficult times ahead if client does not find dash. Now, what is the answer? There is something which works in the background between you and your clients. Without that, you need to face difficult times ahead if client does not find dash. So what is that dash they need to find? Please provide your answer in the chat room. Thank you. All right, so we have some answers in the chat room. And the answers say, let me get the answer. The answers say trust, 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 trust. All right, thank you so much. So the correct answer is trust. Now let's look at engaging effectively with your clients. Engaging effectively with your clients. Engaging effectively with your clients. Understanding your stakeholders. A stakeholder is a person who is directly or indirectly interested in the successful completion of a project. Stakeholders may be groups and companies who are closely involved but may not have any direct contact with other parts of your organization's work. Why should you be interested in stakeholders? If you don't show interest in stakeholders, they will create problems and prevent you from successfully completing your project. Identify which stakeholders are likely to be supportive of your work and which stakeholders may delay your project. So this is why we say we have internal clients and external clients. Those people we consider as clients somehow, they also get to be part of the stakeholders. Okay, they get to be part of the stakeholders. Now, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is an inborn characteristic, and some researchers say that emotional intelligence can be learned and strengthened. Here refers to the capability to control and evaluate emotions. The 4 branches of emotional intelligence, we have perceiving emotions, reasoning with emotions, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. Perceiving emotions, reasoning with emotions, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. Perceiving emotions. In understanding emotion, the first step is to accurately be aware of them. In a few situations, you have to understand some non-verbal signals, body language, and facial expressions. Reasoning with emotion, the next stage is using emotions to actively encourage cognitive activity and thinking. These emotions help you prioritize what we pay attention to and react to. Emotionally, we respond to certain things which grab our attention. Understanding emotions, the emotions that we are aware of has various meanings. If someone is angry, you must interpret the root cause of their anger. If your manager is angry, it means he is not satisfied with your work. Managing emotions, the important part of emotional intelligence is your capability to manage emotions. Some important aspects of emotional management are responding according to the situation, responding to the emotions, and regulating emotions. And as consultants, we must understand these 4 aspects of emotional intelligence and play alongside with them. Managing emotions at work. Common negative emotions at work are frustrations and irritation, worry and nervousness, anger and aggravation, dislike, disappointment, and unhappiness. For frustration and irritation, suggestion to deal with frustration. Stop and evaluate. Analyze if there is any positive any positive in the situation, remember the last time you felt frustrated. For being nervous and or worried, don't surround yourself with worry and anxiety. Try deep breathing exercises. Find out if there is anything to improve the situation. Write down your worries and try to solve them one by one. For anger and aggravation, find out the root cause of anger. Whenever I'm taking a course on emotional intelligence, especially on anger management, I actually try to take out time to help participants understand the root cause of anger. Because what we actually see as root cause of anger, they are only secondary sources of anger. They are not the primary sources of anger. And from all my little research, it has actually been said that anger could be internally generated or externally generated. But from my own discovery, I have come to agree with myself that anger is more of internal dimension than external dimension. Because whatsoever that triggers anger in you must have been on the basis of receptivity on what is on the inside. So how your subconscious mind is currently positioned will determine whether you'll be angry over certain events or not. So the root cause of anger is built around our subconscious mind. The things we've fed our subconscious mind with, the things we've got to understand or feel like they are the things that could be triggered and they cause anger to us. Now, if you decide from today that if this thing happens, you will never be angry, and it does the first time, you try to be angry, but you get to manage that anger. You try the second time, try the third time. The fourth time, you're not going to see it as a trigger again. Now, you've been able to internally create an environment that stops that trigger from getting you angry, right? In the same way, in the external dimension, so I would say the external dimension that generates those sources of anger work in complementary dimension to the internal environment that accepts those triggers. Okay, so anger is first of all internally generated, or perhaps there is an internal environment that harbors the anger hormones, keeps them active at all times, all right? But if we get to subconsciously manage those environment, it is easy for the triggers of anger to come to us and then bounce back, right? So when we say find the root cause of anger, it's good to find out what the root cause of anger is. And there is something. Anger does not have boundary. Rich, poor, medium class, everybody could be angry. So if you check it very well, when somebody says poverty is the reason why he's angry, it is not really poverty. I don't have what to eat, that's why I'm angry. It's not really lack or want or need. There is an already accepted truth in the person's mind that absence of money makes someone angry. Okay, if absence of money makes someone angry, then what gets a rich man angry? Is it still absence of money? Is it still absence of wealth? So we all need to drill down to finding exactly the root cause of some emotions like anger. Okay, anger is a secondary emotion, not a primary emotion. So we need to find the primary emotions that lead to the secondary emotion of anger. If you are angry, temporarily stop your work. Picture yourself when you are angry. Dislike. Suggestion to deal with people whom you dislike: be respectful and be assertive. Disappointment or unhappiness. How to deal with it? Look at your mindset. Very, very important. Just like the way anger is a secondary emotion, disappointment and unhappiness, they are all secondary emotions also. So how do you deal with it? The first place you have to start from is your mindset. Go back to your subconscious. Try to find out the things you've agreed within yourself that makes you unhappy. All right. Then adjust your goals, record your thoughts, and then smile. Assertiveness. Assertiveness gives an opportunity for others to express their views without dominating the conversation. Clearly express his views without being aggressive. So any consultant that is assertive get to express themselves without dominating conversation, clearly express their view without being aggressive, and stand up for their own sake and for other person's rights in a professional way. Now I have three basic types of behavior. Three basic types of behavior that we'll look at here. Please no, we are not looking at the temperament, we are looking at behavior. So we have the passive behavior, we have the aggressive behavior, we have the assertive behavior. Now let's look at what each one has for us. For the passive behavior, people with passive behavior try to avoid conflict. If you have this form of behavior, you allow others to act according to their choices and take you for granted. The aggressive behavior is contrary to passive behavior. The person expresses his own feelings and needs, but do not care for the others' feelings or do not care for the feelings of others. Then we have the assertive. Assertive behavior is neither passive nor aggressive, but something in between. If you are not assertive, you express your own feelings, or if you are assertive, rather, you express your own feelings, thoughts, and needs in a constructive manner. Other people are also given an equal opportunity to express their feelings and thoughts. It is important to try to behave assertively in order to express your own feelings and thoughts, communicate with other people clearly, engage in fulfilling relationship. Now, how do you handle conflict? How do you handle conflict? Conflicts range from small annoyances that doesn't affect your work to big problems which affect your entire project. Conflicts can make your job very stressful and will prevent you from succeeding in your project. Learning to handle conflict is important so that both the client and you can experience a win-win situation. Is conflict unavoidable? When there are so many people working for an organization, you encounter people with different personalities in different ways of thinking. The various different behaviors and feelings which people have breeds conflict. Conflict can be handled only after you understand both the sides of an issue. We have group conflicts. As part of team dynamics, group conflicts. So we have the intergroup conflict and we have the intra-group conflict. In the intergroup conflict refers to the conflict which is present between individuals of different groups. Then we have the intra-group conflict. It refers to the conflict which is present among individuals of same group. Intergroup conflict is considered as more powerful than intra-group conflicts. Solving other problems. By solving conflicts or by successfully solving conflict, your other problems can also be monitored and brought to surface. There are also a few benefits which you get to like. So I have increased understanding, increased group cohesion, improved self-knowledge. Resolving group conflict, follow these rules. Number one, ensure good relationship is first priority. Number two, keep people and problems separate. Number three, pay attention to the interests that are being presented. First, listen and then talk. 5, explore options together. Let's look at this question and then provide an answer in the chat room. There is one person who is indirectly interested in successful completion of a project. Who is that person? There is one person who is indirectly interested in successful completion of a project. Who is that person? Please put your answer in the chat room. Please put your answer in the chat room. Okay, someone says stakeholder. Okay, another person says stakeholder. All right, thank you so much. So let's proceed. All right, so the right answer is stakeholder. Role of client relationship manager. Okay, so when you get to become a consultant, or you're already a consultant, part of your job is understanding client relationship, and then okay, is Mr. Timothy in this class? Mr. Timothy, Mr. Timothy, please, if you're in this class, can you just say hi in the chat room? Okay, please, when last did you check your WhatsApp message? Because you're asking for your materials, and your material was sent on December 2nd. Your material was sent to your email and sent to your WhatsApp. So it's like you've not been on WhatsApp for a while. So kindly check and get the materials from the sources that have been provided to you. Thank you. Role of client relationship manager. We have aspiration setting, relationship strategy, team leadership, client leadership, ambassadorship and entrepreneurship, and then we have commercial management and control. Commercial management and control. Commercial management and control. Okay, please, just a moment. Someone is writing on my screen, so I'm trying to get this. Okay, so I have aspiration setting, relationship strategy, team leadership, client leadership. They will have ambassadorship and entrepreneurship, and then commercial management and quality control. Skills which enable to fulfill these roles. We have relationship building skills, personal network development, team leadership, thought leadership, firm ambassadorship, relationship management, personal relationship, and effectiveness. They will have relationship building skills. We have trust building, empathy, selfless, independence, executive relationship. Personal network development will have personal brand, being known for something. They will have core network, sustaining, and traffic building. I am going through this without further explanation because I just passively understand them. But in case there is anyone you don't get to understand, please let me know. Team leadership comprises of having the right team, coaching and mentoring, delegation, accountability, having the right relationships, and then creating positive experiences. Thought leadership involves intellectual capital development, effective solutions, influence, and then third-party recognitions. Firm ambassadorship involves service offerings, firm network, firm first, and sharing the relationship. Relationship management involves winning the sale, many-to-many client network, account planning and development, agenda setting, and then value. Personal leadership and effectiveness involves prioritization, time management, career management, personal renewal, and firm contribution. Okay, let's quickly look at successful project planning. Successful project planning. Can we take 2 minutes or 1 minute break? Then we'll be back. 1 minute break, or perhaps 30 seconds, we'll be back. All right, thank you and welcome back as we get to start rounding up this first lecture. Successful project planning. It's important for us to know that as consultants, we are constantly faced with projects. Every consulting event or consulting experience we get to find ourselves in, they are all projects on themselves. So we need to understand how project management works and then being able to know how to apply them in our consulting process. Then we have the planning process as part of the project management process. The actual planning process is really quite straightforward. It simply describes the following: what action need to occur, when will each action be started and completed, who will be responsible for each action, and how much will it all cost. So if you're a consultant, these questions are critical in managing that particular consulting contract that you want to deal with. Okay. Useful planning. The following factors should be taken into account for useful planning. We have ensured that right people are involved from the initiation stage. It is important to match the experience and expertise of the people who do the planning with the requirement. Invest more time to plan properly. Steps. Follow these steps with your team and clients. Accept that planning is important in successful projects. Make a planning model which everyone can use. Make use of the planning model consistently in all stages of the project. Relationship planning. If you have not updated any information to a key stakeholder, he will get angry and feel embarrassed by being out of the loop, and your relationship with that stakeholder will end. In order to make the stakeholder remain on board with you, update them about all the information. This is a critical part of relationship management. Identifying key stakeholders. To arrive at a proper solution, it should be supported by right and appropriate people. You need to develop a good relationship with those people who approve, support, and also implement the solution. The people whose support are needed are those who must formally approve the solution, those who must live with the solution, those who must implement the solution, and those who must informally support the solution. The role of influence. More people will have interest in your project, and there will be a wide variety of reasons for that. When there is interest, influence will also be present. When there is interest, influence will also be present. Influence getting power. Let's consider where influencers get their power from. These four categories are not exhaustive, but cover the most common situations. Influencers can get their power from position, from affiliation, from politics, or from competence, but that's not the only area influence can be gotten from. But influence can be gotten from position, from affiliation, from competence, and from politics. Please, there is somebody who is actually writing on this screen. Let me get the person's name. May something. Manua Ernest John Bull. Please, if you're using a computer, don't be moving your mouse because you're writing on the screen. Manua Ernest John Bull. Okay, and if you're using a tablet, please just be careful with the screen. All right, thank you. Preparing for a presentation. Preparing a presentation is a 6-step process. They are analyze the audience, brainstorm key points, prepare an outline, make the necessary changes, dry run the presentation, and ensure all details are covered. What do we mean by dry run the presentation? Practice the presentation, that's what we mean. So analyze the audience, brainstorm key points, prepare an outline, make the necessary changes, dry run the presentation, and then ensure all details are covered. Purpose of presentation. The main idea of preparing a presentation is to get the acceptable support, get the acceptance, support, and approval of stakeholders for a particular project or solution. It helps you to assure that all stakeholders accept the solution even before the presentation begins. Getting stakeholders involved. The following factors should be taken into account for useful planning. Number 1, suggesting ideas for the plan. Number 2, working on the actual plan. Number 3, reviewing and revising the plan. Number 4, approving the plan. And number 5, implementing the approved plan. Making the plan realistic. This is the challenging part of the project. Analyze the time frame required to complete every task. Ask a few queries before estimating the time. Some questions are, is there any deadline for the project? What are your requirements to complete the project? Where are the inputs available to accomplish the task? To whom should I send the output to? Is there any slack time surrounding my task? These are some of the questions you need to put together in ensuring that you have good time management. Pulling it together to create an environment in which planning will be effective and enjoyable. Ensure that everyone contributes and works with commitment. The planning model selected should be useful to all, and everyone should have confidence in the model. Choose the right people whose expertise matches with the need. Make the plan realistic. Okay, make the plan realistic. Implementation. After you might have finished planning, okay, so in project management, we have 5 basic phases. We have the initiation, planning, monitoring and controlling, execution, and closing, right? So here we have basically two forms or two planning, two sides to planning. In the planning, we spoke about the initiation, and we spoke about bringing in the right people, which talks about the monitoring and control side, and also part of execution, right? So the implementation has to do with ensuring that the consulting plan is being carried out, right? So making it happen, in order to maintain strong relationship, there should be commitment and communication from both sides. Putting your plan into action truly tests your skills as relationship manager. Your role as a relationship manager is to make sure people accept their commitment. This will be more likely if they agree with the solution that has been defined for the client, understand the diagnosis and what led to the current situation, have developed ownership for and confidence in the plan. The plan versus reality. In spite of changes encountered, the team members have to make it happen. Once the plan is put together, each and every team member has to contribute value to the project. In reality, the plan might not be 100% accurate, but the plan provides the blueprint to doing the work. So as we go on with the project execution, we understand that there are contingencies and there are changes that come by. Whichever one that happens, the most important thing is for the team to remain committed to the goal. And if they are committed to the goal and committed to the solution they want to bring, they will be excited, they will be willing to commit to the changes that come by, and then be able to come up with the solution at the end of the day. Communication. The need for effective relationship management comes into play as you move from initiation and planning to implementation. It is important that you communicate with your client frequently, clearly, and precisely. Communicate from the start. The 3 steps involved are a precedent is set when there is poor communication during the initiation stage. It is the responsibility of the relationship manager to model good communication techniques. In this case, we are considering the consultant here as the relationship manager. The proposal which you write before starting a project should be clear, error-free, and easy to understand. The communication matrix. The communication matrix is a foundation for a good communication network. It helps in distribution of information in a client-friendly manner. Stakeholders also receive updates in a manner which best suits their needs. The project leaders and team members get precise feedback because of communication matrix. Developing the communication matrix. To develop the communication matrix, the project leaders need information about the projects, methods used for distribution, which could be fast, email, hard copy, then update frequency. It could be hourly, weekly, or daily. Then details of project team members who need the information. Now, content of communication matrix have cost benefit analysis, a completed project scope summary, a project impact matrix, a project stakeholder directory, a milestone chart, a project measurement summary, a distribution network, a risk assessment, a risk management plan, and a meeting assessment summary. Now, if you remember what we dealt with last week on how to start a consulting firm, you could still remember that chart we give. Now, if you go back to that chart, it's easy to understand what we have here, because that chart comprises of everything that is already listed here. All right. So in case you were not in class last weekend, please get to the YouTube and then get to download the class of last week for your own use, especially on consulting framework, consulting models, and then on how to start your own consulting firm. Communicating with the project customers. If situation permits, have a face-to-face communication with the project customers. Communicating directly expands the details you can gather and allows you to understand the client's requirements. Managing difficult interactions. Here are a few tips that may help you address those moments. Number one, the customer disagrees. This will happen, and hopefully you will know when it happens. If the disagreement is serious or mild, stay focused on the project and don't act defensively. Number two, the client gets angry. Anger directed at the project or the team may or may not be rooted in the project process itself. All right. Your goal is not to qualify or defend against the anger, but to dissipate it. Number three, the client gets stuck. If the client is interested in working with information rather than milestones, he gets stuck. In such situations, you have to maintain momentum. Number four, the client asks for change. Changes are often the client's way of asking for attention and securing control. Okay. This requires some adept relationship management and possibly a delegate intervention. A simple two-word. We find it difficult to say a two-lettered word in relation to projects and life in general. The two-lettered word is no. It is important to learn how and when to say no if your consulting experience must go ahead. Making implementation successful, motivate the team, do a reality check, be a model of outstanding communication. Now, wrapping it up, the wrap up, whenever a project or a contract or a consulting ends, whenever a consulting ends, it can create a new opportunity. The consultant should have never worked on such a phase named closeout or wrap up. Okay. They come to the conclusion that the project goes away after they have delivered their final outputs to their clients. Closeout purpose. The purpose of closeout phase is to check whether all output has been received by clients, getting feedback for the project completed, team performance is reviewed, follow up on additional opportunities. Steps in project closeout. Verify delivery of the solution, complete a project summary, document lessons learned, prepare a relationship extension plan from success to new opportunities, and then value of face-to-face meeting. To buttress more explanation, verify delivery of the solution, verify whether the output was fully and effectively utilized by the client. After checking with the important project client, and once you're satisfied, pass on the information to all the stakeholders. Completing the project summary can be viewed as a team's report card. A project summary is prepared to get information from the client. It is one-page summary that ensures that you have accurate and timely client feedback. Documenting lessons learned. Review what lessons you have learned and from the project completed. Each and every project has some sort of valuable information that could be helpful in all future endeavors. Important details should be gathered and shared among team members. Preparing a relationship extension plan, the cost of finding a new client is about 6 times as much as that needed to keep an existing client. You should be motivated to make every conceivable effort to keep every client as long as possible. From success to new opportunities, given the level of confidence the client has developed in your services, the next natural step is to look to the future for additional collaboration. For face-to-face meeting, it allows you the flexibility to add follow-up questions for more detail or to clarify information offered by the client. And then finally, 10 keys to outstanding client service. 10 keys to outstanding client service. How to make every client a special client. So the acronym SPECIAL. So what is special in this case? You have speed, personalize, exceed expectation, competence encounters, information, attitude of can do, and then long-term relationship. So that is special. Do it fast. Speed is competitive advantage. Everything is time-based. When a client says time is not important, ignore them. Fast is equal to action, secure, trust. So understand that. Positive communication. Cut out jargon. Aim to be understood. Talk benefits, not just features. Make written communication short, specific, and simple. The personal touch. Use client's name in all written communication. Courtesy, manners, and politeness are keys to building trust. The first sale you make is yourself. So learn how to market yourself properly. Rapport is a skill that can be learned. Get to know your customers, all of them. Get to know your customers, all of them. Keep clients. 68% go elsewhere because of the people they deal, because the people they deal are indifferent to their needs. 68% go elsewhere because the people they deal are indifferent to their needs. When the deals are different from the needs, people get to deviate. 1% die, all of your customers. 1% die, 3% go away, 4% move, or 3% move away rather. 4% just naturally float. 5% change on others' advice. 9% go somewhere else where it is cheap. 10% are complainers. So if you must manage your customers, then try to keep them by doing the right things. If not, 68% will tell you that what you're offering is no longer what they need. 1% might possibly die. 3% will just move away when their needs are not met. All of these things will happen if the needs of the customers or the clients are not met. So to avoid any of this, please let's deal with this so that they don't cause issues. Turn complaints into opportunities. Complaints are opportunities in the work clothes. Problems are wake-up calls for creativity and commitment. Be proactive, not reactive to client service issues. Create moment of truth. Pay attention to small details. Pay attention to peripheral functions. Everything counts. Each time you meet your client, your status in the mind of the client is either improving or diminishing. So you need to pay attention to the point that everything counts. Exceed expectations. Set clear expectations and then exceed them. Don't do anything if you can't do it properly. Do something extra as standard. Systems are as important as smiles. Remember, if you must ever succeed in your consulting, you must move from principles to systems. You must move from principles to systems. Principles are good, but let principles be formed to systems. Okay? Make quality your first priority. Lead by example. Review progress regularly. Set quality and client service objectives and goals. Meet regularly. Please, Mr. Pius, you're writing on the screen. Follow up and follow through. How do we mean here? Who cares wins. Ask how well are we doing. Stay close to your customers. Ask clients for feedback. Very, very important. Deliver. Competence wins everything or every time. Training is not a cost. It is an investment. For those of us that are consultants, please, I've said it over and over again, you must commit to constantly improving yourself. We all must commit to constantly improving ourselves. And we must realize that training is not an expenditure. It's not something we are wasting. It's an investment we're doing on ourselves, whether it is a certificate-based training or a non-certificate-based training. My own attention to training is that any training that you must attend must have a goal and objective that you must achieve. So if the objective is knowledge and certificate, then let it be specified. If the objective is certificate only, let it be specified. If the objective is knowledge only, let it be specified. But at all times, make sure that you are involved in training. There are some people here that personally I am super impressed with. Some people, anytime we have a training, there are people that have been training with us since the year began. Since this year began, since January, they've been training. There is no diet that they are not having it. This is the last diet for the year. Some of them have done 5 courses. Some of them have done 3 courses. Some of them have done 4 courses. But for every diet, they must take 1 course. And those people, my encouragement to you is that you are not wasting your time. You're not wasting your resources. You're actually investing the most of your time. I think it was on Thursday. Yes, on Thursday, I had a very humbling experience. I was invited to Mambila Barracks, the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Mambila Barracks in Asokoro. Okay, and I was invited by one of the generals who is in charge or who works with the bioresource or with their resource center. And when I got there, I know most of you have not seen me before. Some of you, when you see me, you'll be very surprised, like that man. Okay. So he saw me and was like, "Are you the person?" I said, "Yes." "Oh, I was expecting one old man." Okay. So maybe someone in his 50s or in his 60s. Okay. But to cut the long story short, right in the office where I met this general was referred. Just someone took a course on emotional intelligence and then referred the general. And the general decided to take a course on emotional intelligence. And since he took the course, he had been on me that he wants me to come and visit his office. So on Thursday, I visited his office. Now, on getting to his office, the first thing he showed me was his library. He said he has taken several workshops on emotional intelligence, but he wants to be certified and chartered as an EI consultant. That's one goal. Then he showed me his library. Out of the things he showed me in his library, over 70% of the books there were on emotional intelligence. And he told me that during the lockdown, he had to take a course from Harvard College, Harvard Business School, on the same subject. He had to take a course from John F. Kennedy College on the same course. But all of this, he had not been able to get a chartered certification or a certificate. He had been getting several certifications that maybe had not given him the position to practice. Okay, and his own concern is that though I have all of these trainings and all of it, but I still want to learn more. But in this case now, the priority is that I want to be chartered. So irrespective of all the investment he has made, and he told me that as soon as this whole COVID relaxes, that he was still going to travel to US. Is it the John F. Kennedy College now? He was still going to go there to take an in-class session with them. Now imagine all of this investment. Now this person is a major, sorry, is a general. Okay, he's a general. So inevitably you can say he has money, right? He lives in a very good place, he has investment. So what does he still want to do with knowledge? And he told me that he has 3 masters. He has 3 masters, and by next year he's going for his PhD, for his first PhD. And this person tends to be in his 50s. Okay, and I was quite impressed. Okay, learning from all good sources. So everything you invest in yourself, they are not a waste. Okay, everything you invest in yourself, they are not a waste. And he told me something. He said he took the emotional intelligence class because he has quite a number of people that he want to bring in. There are other generals that he want to bring in, and there are other professors in the academia that are looking for opportunity to be chartered, okay, so that they can also get to practice or as professionals, not just as academia, but practice as professionals. And this is what we are talking about. They consider these opportunities as investment, not as a cost, not as I've spent this. No. So the more we understand it, the better for us. All right. Then establish client focus standards as performance, then standardize systems to ensure consistency. In summary, key learnings from client relationship management: understand the client relationship. The key dimensions included relationship management: awareness of interpersonal relationship, team dynamics, cultural considerations of the clients. Then build effective and everlasting client relationships, how to keep engaged with the clients and supportive, learn the importance of role and skills of a relationship manager with the clients, taking ownership of the delivery of related projects and demonstrate a genuine commitment to service delivery excellence, be effective in project planning and its implementation, communicate effectively with the client in case of unavoidable situation, in case of unavoidable situations in mind. Then learn what are the key areas to do outstanding client relationship. All right, so this is where we are going to call it a time for the first section. The next session is going to be starting off immediately. But before we start to the next session, I'm going to be handing over to Mr. Abraham. Should there be questions, please, let's take the questions and then we'll proceed. Our next class is going to be on the blue ocean strategy, which is still part of marketing. All right. Okay, Mr. Abraham, please, if you're there, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Banito. In fact, the class was very elaborate and very interesting. Thank you so much for the class. Please, if you have questions, do well to raise your hand and we shall give you the opportunity to ask your questions. If you have any question, please do raise up your hands. You can also type your questions on the chat room if you want to, or if you want to ask a question, please do raise your hands and we'll give you the opportunity to do so. Do we have questions? Please, do we have questions? If you have questions, raise your hand and we'll give you the opportunity to do so. You can also type your questions in the chat room also. It appears that we don't have questions. It's like the class was understood. But if you still have questions, please, you can raise your hands and give the opportunity to ask your question. Doctor is like, you don't have questions like, okay, someone, Innocent Joseph has a question, okay. I'll give you the opportunity to ask your question now. All right, please, Innocent Joseph, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
Good morning, Barrister Innocent.
Good morning, Dr. B. How are
You're
you
welcome.
doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. I'm great.
Wonderful class, as always. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My question is not really on the topic that is being taught today. I
Okay.
want to find out when can we get the hard copies available to buy, to purchase the hard copies of all these class, the lectures that we are having. When will it be available for us to purchase?
Okay.
The
Thank you so much.
reason I'm asking is, some of us, we can't stay too long on the system, computers or phone. I like the old school type, I can stay and burn the candle as long as strength can carry me on a hard copy. So please.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Most of the hard copies are made available during the conference. So
Okay.
during the conference, you see a whole number of them. And also, if we were to have physical class, you would have had access to hard copies.
Okay. So the conference we're having is it January or March again? Are they going to be available?
Sir?
I said the induction, is it not? It's January or March. When was it? When is it again?
March.
March. So
Yes,
I
sir.
suppose they are going to be available.
Definitely, they'll be available.
That'll be great. That'll be
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Okay, any other question from anyone? If you have a question, please raise your hand. Just raise your hand and you're given the opportunity to ask your questions. Well, it appears the class was understood and there's no questions any longer. Doctor, I don't know, no questions.
Okay, so if there are no questions, maybe we go for 5 minutes break, and then we come back, we'll continue with Blue Ocean Strategy. So let's take 5 minutes by 8:05. Or okay, so 8:05 or 8:07. My own time is showing 8:05, 8:04. So let's say 8:10 we'll return for the next class. 8:10. So let's take